Welcome back and thanks for joining us. We're going to be talking about the IKEA art event for 2018. If you're not familiar with the art event of 2018, so IKEA does an art event every year. Usually it's photos and drawings, they're cheap paper, super exciting, and then all of a sudden you'll see them in the clearance bin in about 2 weeks. But this year IKEA is doing something really interesting. They're, instead of using paper, they're using glass, and they are doing these 8 objects, and we're doing one segment about each one of these artists. This one we're doing is Coarse. Coarse is an LA based artist that we see doing a lot of work in Hong Kong and Denmark. Now below will be a link to his Facebook, his website, his Instagram, and a couple other things that I found that will be interesting to you. So let's get into this. So we're going to talk about his Instagram real quick. If you look at it, it's just fantastic. Just scroll up and you'll enjoy. It's so good. Like, it's such a wonderful Instagram to follow. I was really excited that IKEA added him because I didn't know who he was, and because of me doing these 8 segments, I was able to find him, several other artists, and I started following him, and I love following him on Instagram. And so now we're going to look at just a quick few things about his website. If you're not used to his website, the way it's formatted is kind of odd and funny, and I didn't really enjoy using it, but it does give you some very beautiful imagery to show you what his work, how powerful and empowering his work can be by just the simple images. Now, what he does do, we're going to talk about his kind of more mature to juvenile artwork and how it shifts in between. So we're going to first start at, and then we're going to talk about how that work compares to his IKEA work, so the thing that we've talked about. So this is what he is doing for IKEA, and we're going to show you how it works in or doesn't work in with his body of work. So we're going to first start talking about this image here. It's a rendered image on digital media. So this is not an actual object from what I can tell, that it is a digital image of an old man with a nose. Now he's playing on the idea of old and young by this kind of young juvenile nose and the old concept of the man. Now if we go look at the old woman image, where she has this like little party blower and it's beautiful and it's sophisticated, but again you can tell she's an older woman. This is an image that one day I hope to acquire. I don't know how, because I've already made an inquisition to it and an inquiry into it, and found that it's sold out. So, oh well. Something similar I'm sure will come up. And you can see again he's playing on that old young, that mature juvenile, kind of that adolescence and, you know, puberty and all those kind of like things that are going on here, and it's just delicious. Now again, he likes to play on, besides this old and young, he likes to play with some of his a little less sophisticated work, and you'll see that his work covers a spectrum of sophistication, and it's all great. Is this idea of the mask. So here is the sculpture of a man wearing a swordfish as a mask. As you'll see, that it covers the face, and it's looking down, and it's wonderful. And he also likes using this very kind of like, he has several color palettes he uses. Monochrome, and he uses these pastels, this very California type color palette where it's this pink and yellow and blue, and he uses a black, gold, gray color palette, and he uses an all black color palette. But there are exceptions to that, you'll see in one of his pieces that we talk about here. But this is kind of like what he usually goes for, is this color palette here. Now in the next image, where it's called The Darkest Shadow, I believe, and he's looking at this image here, and this again is a digital image and it's not a sculpture. So you'll see here that again he's playing on the mask. So you see the guy is bent over and he has the mask on. Now here we're going back to the color palette, and this is from an image that I took from his Facebook page, And if you go to the Facebook page, you'll see the full image where one person is licking an ice cream cone and the other person is doing something else. So, and I like that they don't shy away from humanist activity, and I like that they don't shy away from these images and subjects that sometimes are taboo, but this is, again, right on the money of being what it means to be a human, and these ideas of high-low in sophistication of eating ice cream and something else, and how they combine as a singular kind of idea. Now, we're going to go into another idea where he's mixing this high and low with this image. Now, this is something that they do kind of often, but it's this well-rendered, super cutesy, but then it's super morbid at the same time, because what you see is these super happy people carrying axes, but then you see, look at the face on the tree, he's not so happy that they're there, and he's like kind of annoyed because, well, these cute, super happy people, they're about to chop him down. And so you see that, again, that it's moving away from that sophistication of the all white, all male and female to these images. These, again, are still super well done. It's just getting a little, a little funner. And then we get to this image of this large rabbit, and he's super masculine and super aggressive, and there's a lot of sexual tension of like his hyper masculinity, and then he has these rainbow colored fingers, and when we think of rabbits, we don't think of aggression and hyper masculinity and sexual tension, and what we think of is little girls with bunny ears and a cottontail or soup and fluffy and soft and non-aggressive and peaceful and passive. And here this is all playing against all of those kind of like stereotypes, and I really like that intersection of back and forth and things that are happening that aren't supposed to be happening, and it's really kind of fascinating to watch. And then we have these images here now where there's two of these that we're going to talk about. First one is this cat and fish, and how again it's like super cute, and it's in that color palette that we talked about, which is like black, white, gray, gold, and it's super cute, super well rendered. And then you have death is like inevitable for everyone. So the cat has killed this fish and he's eating him, and it's inevitable. Now if we look at the next image, the main reason that I wanted to talk about this image is the fox. The fox is the one thing that I want to talk about this. Let's look at the tail and see how it's rendered, and it has depression to show the separation in colors, and it's not just like you painted on a line at a zigzag. You physically had to design so that when it was created, that you could see those impressions. So even if it was a solid color, you could still tell that it was a fox's tail. Now, let's look at the IKEA piece. So the IKEA piece has the same detailing as the fox that I just showed you. Now, this is fantastic to me. It's super fun. It's super great. I love it. I will be buying this. It's something that I've already decided that I have to have it because it's so fun. And I really enjoy it. And it's one of those pieces that even if you didn't know about this art event, that if you bought it, it would be a really great experience. So again, the links are below. Right after this is going to be a little add-on saying if there's any information updated from the last episode. Again, thanks for showing up, and happy shopping at the IKEA Art Event 2018.